Hi, this is my brain and cranial nerve project. So this is a diagram of the cranial nerves. The first cranial nerve is the olfactory nerve that this one is pointing to right here. Its origin is the forebrain, specifically the olfactory bulb. Its function is sensory and sense of smell. The second cranial nerve is called the optic nerve. It is this blue one that the arrows are pointing to. Its origin of the optic nerve is the forebrain, specifically the retinal ganglia in the retina. Its function is sensory and it processes visual information. The third cranial nerve is the ocular motor nerve, and it's this red one the arrows are pointing to. The origin of the ocular motor nerve is the midbrain of the brainstem, specifically the ocular motor nucleus. Its function is motor, and it controls ocular movements, pupil constriction, and lens accommodation. The fourth cranial nerve is the trochlear nerve. It is this red one right here on the sides. The origin is the midbrain of the brainstem, specifically the trochlear nucleus. Its function is motor, and it controls ocular movement. The fifth cranial nerve is called the trigeminal nerve, and it is this purple one right here. Its origin is the pons of the brainstem, specifically the trigeminal nuclear complex. Its function is both sensory and motor. It has sensory for the face, head, and oral cavities, and motor for muscles of chewing and swallowing. The sixth cranial nerve is called the abducens nerve. This is it right here, red in the middle. The origin is the pons of the brainstem, specifically the motor nucleus in the pontine. Its function is motor. It controls ocular movement laterally and integrates the vestibular system and neck movements. The seventh cranial nerve is the facial nerve. It is this purple one right here. Its origin is the pontomedullary junction in the brainstem, specifically the facial motor nucleus and the solitarius nucleus. Its function is both sensory and motor. It innervates muscles of facial expression, scalp, and stapedius, and taste sensation for the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. The eighth cranial nerve is the auditory, or also called the vestibular nerve. It is this blue one right on the sides. The origin is the pontomedullary junction in the brainstem. The function is sensory, and it helps with equilibrium and balance and audition. The ninth cranial nerve is called the glossopharyngeal nerve. It is this purple one right here. The origin is the medulla in the brainstem, specifically the sensory motor nucleus complex. The function is both sensory and motor. It has taste sensation for the posterior third of the tongue, controls glands and cardiac muscles, and regulates secretions and swallowing. The 10th cranial nerve is called the vagus nerve. This is it right here in the purple. Its origin is the medulla in the brainstem, specifically the vagal nuclear complex. Its function is sensory and motor, and it has sensation for the muscles of the pharynx and the larynx and innervation of glands and cardiac muscle. The 11th cranial nerve is called the spinal accessory nerve, and it's this red one right down here. Its origin is the medulla of the brainstem, specifically within the upper cervical segments. And its function is only motor, and it helps for head rotation and shoulder elevation. The 12th cranial nerve is the hypoglossal nerve. This is it right here in the red in the middle. Its origin is the medulla in the brainstem, and its function is motor, and it helps with tongue movement. Here is the posterior view of this diagram. Here is a side view and another side view.